students. Today's lesson is taken from your history book, The Delhi Sultans. Now, the importance of Delhi grows only around 12th century when the Rajputs expanded their territory and one of its branch controlled Delhi and made it its capital. In the 12th century only, the Rajputs, when they expanded their territory, when they expanded their ruling, then only one of its branch had controlled Delhi and made it as its capital. It became an important commercial center under the Tomars and Chauhan Rajputs. Now, during the time of Tomars and Chauhans only, this Delhi became the commercial center. Commercial center means the trading center. All the export and import business took place during this time. Among the Chauhan Rajputs, Prithvi Raj Chauhan was the major ruler. Okay. Now, next we see that Delhi as a capital of a vast area, including a great of the subcontinent, only rose to power under the Delhi Sultanate. Delhi became a major part, or you can say, when the Delhi Sultanate took over the charge, and they included various areas under them, not only the nearby areas of Delhi but far off places also. Now, the Delhi Sultanate consists of five dynasties. We can see in our book. These are the rulers of Delhi. Before was Rajput dynasty, in which the Tomars ruled. Ananga Pala, Chauhans, Prithviraj Chauhan. The dates are given, the year is given, from which year to till which year they ruled. Then the early Turkish rulers, in which Kutumbuddin Aybak, Shamsuddin Iltutmish, Razia, and Ghiyasuddin Balban. This time was also known as Slave Dynasty. Then Khalji Dynasty, in which Jalaluddin Khalji and Alauddin Khalji ruled. Then we have Tughlaq Dynasty, in which Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad Tughlaq, and Firuz Shah Tughlaq ruled. Then we have Sayyid Dynasty, in which Khizr Khan ruled. Then we have Lodi Dynasty, in which Bahlul Lodi ruled. Now, next is about the finding out about the Delhi Sultans. Now, what are the sources or information? In those time, there were inscriptions, coins, and architecture. But the important source were the histories written at this particular period of time. And this histories was written by the learned men in Persian language, that is known as Tariq or Tariq. This was written by the learned men, and who were these learned men? They were the secretaries, the administrators, the poets, and the courtiers. They all were in the court of the Sultan. They used to help him, they used to advise him. These were all the learned or knowledgeable persons, we can say. A few of such men include Minhaj-e-Siraj, Amir Khusro, and Ziauddin Baruani. Now, they wrote the histories, but the one thing which we need to keep in mind is these historians, they only wrote what is to be written to get reward in return, because whatever they used to write, for that they used to get back the rewards. They never wrote any actual facts during those days. Okay. Now, next we'll read in this. Learned men, they used to, as I said, they used to write for hope of getting rewards, and they also used to advise the ruler that the ruler need to take the order based on birthright and the gender distinctions. Now, birthright means it's given in the book also, the privileges which is to be claimed on account of birth, like the noble people, those who are from rich families, so they has the right to govern because they are born in the rich families. Other one is the gender distinction. Gender distinction means socially or biological difference between man and women. They think that the men are more powerful than the woman. Such an example is given in 1236. Sultan Iltutmish's daughter Rajia, she became the sultan because she, among her brothers and sisters, she was the one who was more able and qualified to become a sultan. So she was given a chance to become a sultan. But Minhaj-e-Siraj, one of the learned men from the sultan's court, he uh, he opposed, saying that uh, the girls cannot be the sultans because they are ladies, they cannot handle as the man can handle. Though she is powerful, but it's not in their custom that the girls should come up and become the sultan. So he opposed, stating that. And then he also said that we cannot, along with him there were other learned men also, they also said that we cannot bow down in front of a lady. Our sultan need to be a man only. So afterwards she was removed from the throne in 1240. Fine. Now let's go to the next page. Now here we have, from garrison town to empire, the expansion of Delhi Sultanate. How the expansion of Delhi Sultanate expanded. Now, the first thing we need to know what is a garrison. Garrison, this were the forts. Forts means जो किले बनाते थे. Now, this was being made so that the soldiers can live in there. A big army of the soldiers could live there, and they could be trained, and then they could also be taken care of well in this places. Another word will come is hinterland. Hinterland means the land adjacent to a city or port that supply it with goods and services. Okay. So in the 13th century, when the control of Delhi Sultan was beyond heavily fortified towns occupied by garrisons, the Sultan seldom controlled the hinterland of the cities and were therefore dependent upon trade, tribute, or plunder for supplies. Now, controlling these garrison towns, it was very difficult from Delhi, sitting in Delhi, and then controlling the big places in Bengal or in South or all those things. So it was difficult for one person, for one sultan to do that. Then the state also was challenged by Mongol invasions from Afghanistan, and by the governors rebelled at any sign of sultan's weakness. They knew that sultan cannot, sitting at Delhi, can control the far off places. So they challenged him, they attacked him, they wanted to occupy their places. These challenges were a very challenging one for Sultan, because he had his expansions in different places and how to take care of them. And this was during the reign of Ghiyasuddin Balban, Alauddin the Khilji, and Muhammad Tughlaq. Okay. Now, next is the first set of campaigns along the internal frontier of Sultan, aimed at consolidating the hinterlands of the garrison town. Now, the first thing he wanted to do is internal frontiers. The Sultan aimed to control all this hinterland and the garrison towns. During his campaign, he cleared the forest. We see that the Ganga Yamuna forest, that area were cleared off, and then it was taken up for farming, for agriculture. The people were settled there so that they can do farming, and those lands could be made use in farming, because it was difficult for them to control these areas of forest. Now, these lands were given to the peasants and agriculture was encouraged there. New fortresses and towns were established to protect trade routes and to promote regional trade. So, that way. Now, their second expansion was external frontier of Sultanate. Now, military expeditions into southern India started during the reign of Alauddin Khalji. We can see how the military uh, was shifted to the southern Indian, where with Muhammad Tughlaq. In their campaigns, Sultanate armies captured elephants, horses, and slaves and carried away their precious metals. Okay. Now, by the end of Muhammad Taghlaq, he ruled around 150 years. The armies of the Delhi Sultanate had marched across a large part of the subcontinent. His army had reached to the other subcontinents also. They had defeated their armies and seized their cities. They have taken them under their control. The Sultanate collected taxes from the peasantry and dispensed justice in its realm. The Sultanate started collecting taxes from the peasant. Who are these peasants? The ones those who were given land to cultivate those lands or to do farming on their area. Okay, so with this we end over here. The next part will continue in the next video.